Hi guys, I'm back. If you are new here, my name is Steph. I have bipolar disorder type 1 with psychotic features and mixed episodes. And I do this channel to teach people about bipolar disorder. And if you are someone with bipolar disorder, hopefully you and I can make each other feel less alone. So Athena's here.
Hi.
We did a live together. We did a couple, right?
2, yeah, exactly a year ago.
Yeah. Oh, is it exactly a year
Yeah.
ago?
Exactly.
Okay, so we did a couple of lives together while she was in mania.
Yeah.
Were you in psychosis, you think, or no?
Maybe a little psychosis, yeah.
You were having delusions at that time?
Yeah, I was like not
Okay, so we're gonna tell you how we met and what happened last year when we were hanging out and she was in psychosis, and then we're gonna talk about how she set her bed on fire and ended up in jail, and then now in transitional housing. Okay, so we met in the mental hospital.
Yes.
So why did you end up there?
God, I don't remember that time because I was like going through a series of like hospitalizations, but it's always been mania. It's never been depression. So like I always end up in the hospital because of like mania,
delusions and stuff. So I was in psychosis when I was in the hospital. And it was right after Freddie had passed away, my dog, that he was run over by a car right in front of my eyes. Got off his leash and then a massive truck just ran him over. So I didn't sleep for 3 days and I started going to mania and I ended up in the psychiatric ward. I took myself. That is how my medication helped me. I was able to listen to my husband when he noticed me in hypomania, and I took myself to the hospital. And I'm going to make a separate video on what that's like because going to the psychiatric ward is a nightmare. And you kind of feel like an animal in the process. Yeah, right?
Like you're
yeah.
like herded like a cow.
Yeah, not only that, like you're dangerous. So like, you can't have like plastic bags. You can't have your own clothes. Well, you can have your own clothes if you bring them, but they can't have strings or laces or... Did they let you have... They let me have an underwear bra last time.
No, they took my wire out of my bra.
Oh, okay. So so they must have just missed mine.
Yeah.
But I even packed my stuff for the mental hospital that time. So I had already taken the laces out of my hoodies, and I packed a bag, and I was completely hypomanic at this time. So anyway, that's all about me, but we're here to talk about Athena today. So,
I was gonna say, I don't feel like I know, or like I knew, like maybe I know now, but like I feel like I didn't know when to take myself to the mental hospital in the past because my bipolar like manifested so late in life. Like I was like 29 before I had any symptoms or like any like indication that I had bipolar. So I wasn't like I wasn't like, I don't know what the normal age is, like 15 or something.
It's usually late teens or early 20s.
Yeah.
But it happens a lot with people. You live a life that doesn't have that much stress, and then something super stressful happens, and that's usually what sets it off.
Gotcha. But
and sometimes marijuana too, right?
I just didn't know. Mine was shrooms.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, substances,
yeah.
And pot is one, like marijuana is one, that if you are a young person and you're smoking weed and you already have bipolar disorder, but you maybe are not diagnosed yet, or you don't even know, your family doesn't even know, if you smoke weed, there is a very high chance that you can go into psychosis. So anyway, I totally fell in love with Athena when we were in the mental hospital. Totally. Yeah. She went around like this, like with her arms up, and I was like, what are you doing? Like, she was totally my favorite person there. And I was like always looking for Athena, like, what are you doing? and then I would just laugh at her in her face, and then she'd be like, why are you laughing at me? So anyways, so let's talk about the last year and Sean, because Sean was in the live too.
Yeah, Sean. That was like the most toxic thing I've ever like done in my life, was like date Sean, because I don't know, like, I'm not saying two people with mental illnesses can't be together, but it's just like the two of us did not like work. He was like, I mean, you know, like, he was always like ghosting me and then unghosting me and then like lying. Like, he was a pathological liar too, so he's like telling his family like all these things about me, and it was just like,
He was a pathological liar.
yeah. Like, he would like manipulate and like twist things, and like he cheated on me once, and then he told me that like he's like, oh, like I just kissed this girl, and I was like, oh, okay. And then he's like, okay, do you want to know the truth? Do you want to know the truth? Like, he would, like, that's how, like, it would... Like,
and he was... What diagnosis?
He was bipolar 2 diagnosis. But prior to that, he was schizoaffective diagnosis. So I don't know what his diagnosis is. But he would have really weird, delusions. Like, one time we went to... we rented an Airbnb in Carson, and we invited my brother to come, and we were driving. It was my brother in the driver's seat, I was in the passenger seat, and Sean was in the back, and we were driving, and all of a sudden he just opened the door and like ran out of the car.
Oh my gosh.
And when like later on when he like was telling, I was like, what happened? Like, we were like driving around looking for him, like we called the sheriff's station, and the sheriff is like, oh, he's here with us. And I was like, oh, okay. And he thought that my brother wasn't my brother, that he was like my boyfriend, and that we were like planning to like harm him in some way. And so I don't know what his like true diagnosis is, because it's just like that happened a lot, where he like
had delusions,
had really, really bad paranoid delusions. Yeah.
Well, with bipolar type 2, you can still have psychosis. Even though typically bipolar 2 is usually more depression, you can still have psychosis.
Okay.
And manic episodes. And they...
He told me, though, that he's never had a manic episode.
I mean, if you're if you're in psychosis...
That counts.
You're in a manic episode.
Okay,
It's the manic part of it is... So there's hypomania, where, you know, you're all amped up and like you can do anything, and like you're doing all these projects at once and over cleaning and stuff like that. So that's hypomania. For me, it probably lasts about 24 hours before I'm in full-blown manic psychosis. But some people don't have psychosis, where they have delusions and things like that.
And some people don't have mental health at all.
What do you mean, like, don't have mental health?
I mean, they are mentally healthy. I'm saying, like, there's like a percentage of people that don't ever experience like depression or like
any kind of
thing, and I just get like,
how boring for them.
That is true. Okay, so last year when we were making the video and when we were making the lives, and I was like manic, I would constantly say, like, I feel so bad for people who don't experience mania, because it feels so good. And I just kept saying that. And now that I have gone through what I went through, like, these last, like, 8 months or whatever, the year, I'm just like, okay, like, it's actually really dangerous.
Horrible.
Yeah, it's actually
dangerous
really
and
dangerous.
horrible.
Yeah. So I guess we can get right into
I mean, we're already like 8 minutes in, but yeah, let's talk about the bed setting on fire and the you know, everything that happened and the lives that we did. She was manic. In my point on that is, and I asked her, you know, are you upset about the vlogs? Because she was adamant about doing them. And here's the thing, you cannot make someone take their medication. So at that point in time, she was not taking her medication.
Yeah, for the 4 years before that, I wasn't taking my medication at all.
And how many times were you hospitalized?
A lot. Like, I lost count. Like, over 20. Yeah. But they were, like, back to back to back. Like, I would, like, go to the hospital. Like, they put me on medication. I'd, like, stabilize or whatever. Then I'd get out and, like, stop taking my meds. And then go back. And then it was, like, back to back to back. It wasn't, like... It felt like one long hospitalization instead of, like...
So the reason for that is, what were we talking about? I forgot. I have a horrible memory and I forget things mid-sentence.
Not taking my medication.
Yes. I love Athena. She's my favorite person in the psychiatric ward. She was adamant about doing the vlogs. I'm like, okay, or the lives. I'm like, okay, we'll do the lives. I can't make her take her medication. So I'm going to let her do whatever the hell she wants. And if she has something later to tell me, I will take it down immediately. But she's totally cool.
Yeah,
So
I'm totally cool with like that. Because I feel like it's so important that it's all documented. Because like, it's just like I was like developing a following too, like when I was like having so much mania, because people, I don't know why people like to watch that, but they did, and like so I didn't see it as a problem.
You can keep talking. Sebastian's demanding to get in, and he's scratching.
Hi, sweet boss. But okay, leading up to setting my bed on fire, so I like to play with fire anyway. No, oh gosh, I hope this doesn't like come out to like the judge or whatever. But so I.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Let me say it really quick because it helps loved ones. The reason why Athena was hospitalized so many times is because when you are put in the psychiatric ward in California, we have to pay for it with insurance. And then also there are very few beds. So there is very little funding for mental places, psychiatric wards, and they typically only keep you 3 or 5 days. And then they will release you, and you are not in a place where you are even sane enough to take your medication, because it takes a while to come out of those episodes.
Yeah.
So that's what I was going to say. Go ahead. Sorry for interrupting.
No, that's okay. So yeah, I wasn't taking my medication, and then I like fire. Like I grew up with it. Like my mom is like Hindu, and like everything they do is like with fire. You know, like when they have like a what's called a pandit, like a preacher or whatever, come like bless the house, they like light this thing on fire. When you die, they like light this thing on fire. When you get married, you like walk around a fire. You know, I like fire. So I would just like light little things on fire and just like blow them out. But prior to getting arrested, I was doing meth, which was like really bad, and I have never gotten like a euphoric feeling from meth.
Oh, it's so horrible.
I only have bad symptoms from meth. Like it's not like have you tried Molly?
No, but I have. But when I did meth, the first time I ever did meth, I was in psychosis. And a lot of people will say, well, you were on drugs, so that's what caused it. It's not what causes it.
No, it's not what causes
it's our chemistry that causes it. The cocaine or meth, I shouldn't say those things, whatever, because they might demonetize me or whatever. But anyway, those things, even marijuana, of course, LSD, anything like that, Molly too, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, I never had psychosis from Molly, but I only ever did Molly when I was younger.
Oh, okay, before you had major symptoms. So yeah, those things will bring about symptoms. And it's really difficult for us because people like us, like we've both done that, drugs, right?
Yeah.
But we're not addicted. We didn't become drug addicts, but there's a certain population where they are actually allergic to these drugs. And they are so allergic that they become completely dependent on these drugs and they take over. So that's addiction, which I'm learning a lot with Tiffany. Sorry, my dog's shedding. But anyway, let's go back to...
So I was doing meth, and I was having like all these like delusions about like being like, I thought that there was like people in the world, and then there were like quote unquote like guardian angels in the world that are all like sent to like not protect, but like watch this one person like develop and like grow through their life. And like that was my delusion. I thought that I was the person, and that like my parents were in on it, like this guy that I was hooking up with was in on it, and like they were all just put on earth to like watch me go through all my struggles and like make sure that I got to like a certain level or whatever. So go ahead.
So that's a delusion of grandeur, which is a typical symptom of bipolar disorder. That's one thing very characteristic of bipolar disorder. Paranoia, everyone is talking about us, or we are special in some way.
Yeah, that's exactly it, yeah. So I was like lighting a lot of things on fire that night. Just like little things like plastic and like blowing it out. And I went to like light my bed, and I thought that I could just like light it and then blow it out, because that's what I was doing with like everything else. I wasn't, you know, intentionally like trying to set my bed on fire, which like arson is like willful and malicious intent, which I didn't have, but I was just like playing with it. And
so you weren't charged for arson?
I was charged for arson,
man.
but I'm saying like in like
but in reality
it wasn't like arson. It wasn't like I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna set my bed on fire. Like, no.
fire like
I was just like, I just like lit it, and I tried to like blow it out, and the whole thing just like caught on fire. And then I took a pillow and I was like trying to put it out, and then the pillow caught on fire, and I was like, okay, like fuck this. Like, I thought that like all these people that were like in my life to like be my guardian angels were gonna like save me, so I just like left. And like I didn't leave I went into the bathroom and like started like showering, basically, because it's like if I was like if I was like covered in water, then like, you know, nothing bad could happen. I don't know, it was just like really
That's
bad.
a great idea, actually.
Yeah.
If you're in psychosis and you can't put your fire out, I mean,
yeah.
you're probably safe inside the shower.
Yeah. But I wasn't the one that called 911. Like, someone else did, or like they just knew. I don't know. But I stayed in psychosis for like a while. Like, I got to the jail and I remember thinking like, oh, this is all part of like the guy that I was hooking up with. His name's Mick. I was like, oh, this is all part of Mick's plan. Like, he can like, you know, like he's gonna like, he like orchestrated all of this so that I could like, I don't know, like, it didn't like occur to me that I was like going to jail, you know. I was like gonna be like in this like locked up, you know. Like, I just thought that like this was all a test and that he was gonna like save me and like everything was fine. And I stayed that way for like 3 or 4 days, like kept thinking that everything I saw was like a sign of him, or like, you know, like it was all just gonna be
a message
like
from him.
Yeah, like a message from him. Like, he was like in control of all of it. Like, it was just weird. And it's so weird that like when you're in psychosis, like everything makes sense. Like, everything that you're doing just like makes sense.
Yeah.
And then like when you're out of it, it's like, oh, what the fuck was I thinking?
Yeah, you know something about the world that other people don't.
Yes, yeah. Exactly. Like, you've come to this understanding and other people don't have this understanding. And I want to talk about my roommate because she's never gonna see this, but I feel like she's in mania now. And like, I don't know, it's just like, I don't know, because she's kind of where I was when I was like, mania is awesome, like I want everyone to experience it, like it feels so good. But like,
so let's talk about that really quick. This is a typical generalization that people have about people with bipolar disorder, that they enjoy mania and that's why they don't want to take their medication. In reality, it is actually a symptom of psychosis. It is called anosognosia, and it is the unawareness of being sick.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's what it is.
For sure. So I was in jail for like 2.5 months, and about like a month in, that's when it like hit me that I was like, oh shit, like I really do have like a mental illness and I really do need to be medicated. And like I was like bugging the doctors, like the deputies, like every day. I was like, I need to see the doctor, like I'm not on medication, like this is like, I have to like get this under control, like help me. And finally, like my lawyer, I feel like my lawyer was like really against me. She wanted me to go on a conservatorship.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so
But you can take care of yourself if you're on medication.
If I'm on medication, yeah.
Yeah, you might need help you might need somebody to notice
symptoms.
Yeah, because we don't notice when we're starting to have symptoms. And if we do notice, like the hypomania, we're not really in control. It kind of takes over. And, you know, there's very little time before it gets really bad and goes into delusions and stuff.
Yeah. Wait, what was this? Oh yeah, she wanted me on a conservatorship, but luckily by that time I was like already like really adamant about like having medicine, and I was like I could understand like what's been happening for the past 4 years. So she, like, the psychologist, like, interviewed me, and she's like, oh, like, you're actually really aware of your disease. You don't need a conservatorship. And I was like, thank God. Like, that's the last thing I want.
It takes all of your freedom away.
All of it, yeah. They take your money. They check in on you all the time.
You
like,
basically have a parent that's in charge of you.
Literally. That's what they call it, a guardian.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
so you dodged that one.
I dodged that one, yeah. And then there's this program called ODR, which is the Office of Diversion and Reentry, and it's mental health diversion. So, like, California right now has a lot of, like, mental health diversion programs for people who are diagnosed with, like, mental illness to, like, reacclimate back to society, because I don't know why they have them, but
because Gascon is now our what do you call it, main prosecutor, the head of everything, and that's something that he is really adamant about, and he's taken a lot of flack for it because somebody was released right after he approved a lot of programs and they committed a crime. But the programs that he has put out have been really helpful for people like us and people with addiction issues.
Yeah. So that's what the program is, ODR. It's for, like, addiction, mental health. So basically, like, if you are charged with a felony.
So you were basically held incompetent, right?
I wasn't. No.
You weren't? But
Never.
They wanted to give you a guardianship?
Yeah.
That's
it's
weird.
So weird, yeah. And, like, a lot of other girls in the module that I was in jail were, like, held incompetent. And I was like, why didn't they ever do that to me? Like, how come I dodged that? You know, like, I don't, like... Yeah. Because when I first got there, I was completely incompetent. I was, like, literally thinking, I saw this, like, black stretcher, and I was like, oh, like, Mick put that there, so I can, like...
So incompetent means that you are so unaware of things that you are not able to defend yourself. So they will make you incompetent, and once you are labeled competent, then you can have an actual court date.
Yeah, then you can. Yeah.
But you'll sit in jail until you're competent for a long time. I was in jail for 3 months, and it was because I was delusional and thought I was going onto a reality set and went into a home that was not mine. And they came home. So I was charged with burglary. And so I have a felony on my record now. Is yours a felony?
Mine's a felony, but the thing about mental health diversion is that once I complete the program, it drops off. So
you're so lucky. I didn't get that. I got 3 years probation, and when I tried to expunge my record, which means they'll knock it down to a misdemeanor and dismiss the case, they denied me. So I have to ask them to do that again. But they did let me off my probation 6 months early.
How does that, like, affect, like, any, like, your whole life?
Having a felony on your record is horrible. Like, any job you apply for, especially in today's day and age, you can pay $5 and do a background check on someone. So I mean, having a felony on your record is a huge limitation in life.
Dang.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Because I was like, I'll take probation. They never offered me probation. Like, they only ever, like, the prosecution and my attorney only ever mentioned mental health diversion. Like, they didn't, like other people were getting, like, oh, you can do 6 months and then probation, or, like, oh, you can just do probation. I never ever got an offer. Like, I didn't.
That's because you got the program.
Yeah.
So when you were in jail, even though you set your bed on fire, even though you were clearly mentally ill, did they assign you a psychiatrist immediately?
No.
Okay.
It took me begging. Like, I was like, you guys, like, I really, like I said, I was going through the psychosis, and then, like, a month in or whatever, it hit me that, like, oh, like, this mental illness is, like, a really big deal. Like, I need to, like, take care of it. And it took me, like, begging over and over and over again. It wasn't until after I saw the psychiatrist who was evaluating me for a conservatorship, and I was like, can you get me, like, medicine? And she's like, yeah, I'll work on it. It was only after I saw her that they gave me medicine. Like, prior to that, they were not giving me any medication at all.
So when I was arrested, I actually got to see a psychiatrist right away.
Really?
And I, while still in psychosis, while still delusional, was able to understand that as long as that if I take my medication, I'll probably get out a lot easier. So when I met with him, he was like, okay, well, you know you need to take medication, right? And I was like, yeah, okay. So I started taking the medication, and they transferred me to a part of the jail, which was way more fun because when I was first there, I was put in the really high security,
HOH.
the high security.
Yeah.
And you sit in your cell all day long, and you can only come out for an hour to eat. Which is where Tiffany's at right now, which is a whole nother video. Maybe she'll let me do a video with her. I don't know. I've talked about her a lot on my channel. She's in jail right now because of psychosis, which hers is meth-induced. She has borderline personality disorder. It might be meth-induced. She might be schizoaffective. I'm not a doctor. I know that she's been diagnosed with both. But her whole life, people have been telling her she has borderline personality disorder. So, but yeah, so when I went, I was in that horrible place, and the horrible place was,
and it was dirty, right?
so gross. And the person in the cell,
too.
Yeah. Dude, the person in the cell next to me took a dump in their sink.
Oh.
Yeah, it was so gross.
Wait, the cell next to me, she like put poop all over the door.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was so bad. Did they move you though?
Yes.
Okay, they moved me too.
And then I also saw a lot of people be tackled for mental health issues and given the booty juice to calm them down from my cell. There was another chick in there that was enjoying herself with herself in front of the window part of her cell and screaming, conjugal visit, conjugal visit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, oh my god, it was crazy. And then the person in the cell next to me, the one that did not do that in her sing, she was screaming all night long, all day long, and kicking the wall. So it's a horrible place to be. Yeah. But because I was nonviolent, and because there's help for people like us in LA County Jail. I spoke with my social worker or whatever, and she said, do you want to hurt anyone or anything like that? Do you have any of these type of feelings? And I'm like, no. And then a few days later, they transferred me to a lower level security of the jail, where I had one roommate, and we only had to go in our cells for sleeping and for nap time. Other than that, we could, other than that, amazing. Yeah, I know. And there was coloring books and stuff like that. And we were, otherwise we were able to wander around all day like a psychiatric ward.
That's crazy.
Yeah, which is fun. I love psychiatric wards.
The entire jail's not like that anymore.
Are you sure? Because you have to be
people that were in blues, all blues. They can everybody can only leave their cell for an hour and a half a day.
Are you sure there's no general population anymore?
Yeah, no, the general population, the ones that are in all blues, because like yellows and blues is like mental health.
Yeah.
And then all blues, I talked to a lot of them like when I went to court and stuff, and they only leave their cell for an hour and a half a day.
Yeah. So Tiffany's in the high security area right now in a suicide dress. Oh shoot, I said that word. Oh well, whatever. This video will probably be demonetized, but which kind of sucks for me. But hey, if you want to give me like a super thanks or something like that, I don't make any money on YouTube, and I have no job. And, this is what I do, other than make music, and I release that, and I've made like $15 in my whole musical career. That's not true. I won a talent contest at Long Beach City College, so I won $300 for that.
Wow.
Yeah. Which was pretty cool. I won for my song The End, which is on my YouTube channel if you want to check it out, under the playlist Original Songs. So let's keep talking about your situation. Mm-hmm. You didn't get to go to the cool area of jail where I got muffins and coffee one day. It was way nicer. And in there, this is really sad. There was a woman who was 9 months pregnant, and she was completely like, you couldn't even talk to her. She was nonverbal. She did weird stuff. Really? Like she ripped all the coloring book pages out and then took them in her room, and I don't know what she did with them. She wasn't coloring. So yeah, it was really sad because when I was being released, she was coming back from the hospital without her baby.
Oh.
Yeah. She was in waiting without her baby, and she didn't seem to notice that she didn't have her baby with her because, she was really in a state. Yeah, I know, right? And then, but I had a really cool roommate in that area, and there's a whole video about that. It's like snorting Seroquel. What we did was, she was in there she liked meth. So she had I can't remember her name, but she liked, she had a meth problem. And she was prescribed Seroquel. And we were, messing around, like, we were like, hee, let's see what we can do. And we chopped up her Seroquel and snorted it. And it did nothing. But I have a video about that if you guys want to watch it.
Yeah, Seroquel doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah, I've never been lucky enough to take that one. I heard it causes a lot of weight gain, but it is an amazing medicine for a lot of people. It saves their lives. So the weight gain is a trade-off. If you can't find anything else that works for you. But if you do have side effects to your medication and you find it's not working for you, if you talk to your psychiatrist, they'll put you on something else. There's like 1,000 different medications for psychiatric disorders. Yeah. It's just a matter of finding the one that works for you, and it can be a real pain in the ass, but you have to keep trying.
Yeah. Some psychiatrists are like really resistant to changing your medicine, but you have to tell them, like, look, I'm not going to take it unless you change it, and then they'll adjust it, because they're kind of stuck in their ways sometimes too,
Yeah, and then you maybe have a psychiatrist who's had a bad experience with one of their patients on one medication, so they'll never prescribe that again to anyone else. Or you might have a psychiatrist that always prescribes the same cocktail because that's what worked for majority of their patients. And sometimes you have doctors that don't start with monotherapy, which is where you start with one pill, because it's good to start with one pill and then see where you're at with that. And if it's working in one area and not working in another area, then they can add.
Mm-hmm. I've only ever been on one pill.
Really? Which one?
No, I mean, it's been different ones every time, but I've only ever been on one.
How many medicines have you taken, and which ones?
So I took Tegretol, which
me too.
feels like Molly for me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I was literally high every single day, and
Okay, because I'm raising my hand. I'm not giving you the hand. I'm raising my hand. So I took Tegretol, and it almost killed me. Super allergic reaction because my body was not compatible with Tegretol, and it almost cost me my life. I got something called Stevens-Johnson syndrome, and even so that happened, I would never consider not going on medication again. Mm-hmm. Never.
I almost died from Tegretol too, but
what happened to you?
I was on a really high dosage of it, so I had really bad symptoms, but I drank a lot of alcohol, literally an entire Jack Daniel's bottle.
Dang.
And I had
that's dangerous.
I had a really bad seizure, and
oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was really bad. But I remember my head was clear. I was just why can't I control my body? Why can't I control any of my movements? It was just so freaking bad. I had no control over my body. It was just really bad. Yeah.
Must be weird feeling.
I took olanzapine, but that gave me anxiety, so I don't take that one.
That one made me fat.
I took lithium, which everybody with bipolar starts on.
I took that too.
But that made me feel like a zombie. I didn't like it. I took Depakote, and that made me lose all my hair. If
really?
You can see.
I haven't tried that one.
But I don't like it.
I can't see that you've lost on your
pretty
hair.
thin up
It'll
here.
grow back.
Yeah. And right now I'm on Abilify. But I've taken other ones too. I just can't remember. But every single time it's only ever been one medicine that they gave me. They never tried a cocktail or whatever.
So I'm on Lamictal, but I also take Geodon, which I added last year when Freddie passed away. And I found that it really helps with my rage, so I've gone back on it. So now it's what is it? Lamictal, Geodon, and I have a prescription for something called Atarax, which is off-label for something else. I'm not sure what, but it's for anxiety. And I also discovered that if I actually take the Atarax with the Geodon and the Lamictal, oh my gosh, it's so much easier to function. So much easier. And at first I was like, I don't want to take more than one pill. And I don't want to increase the dosage of my medicine because I'm at the max on Lamictal. But now I realize, hey, this is going to benefit you.
I don't ever feel a difference on my medication. Like, I don't feel like a lot of people when they take their medication are like, oh, my meds are kicking in. But I don't ever feel that difference. But it has to be like doing something for me because I'm not like manic, you know.
So that's how it's supposed to be.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
You're supposed to feel like you. You're supposed to not notice that you're on medication, but feel better if you are feeling really bad. Particularly with depression. Depression will if you find medicine that can treat that and works, then you're going to feel amazing. You know, you might not be feeling amazing if your life circumstances are devastating and you're just in a situation that is depressing. But, and how many milligrams of Abilify are you on?
10.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so that's what they put me on, 10 milligrams of Abilify. And I was told by my psychiatrist that is not high enough dose. That,
really?
Yeah, that if you experience psychosis, you need to be on at least 15 milligrams of Abilify. Otherwise, it's more geared towards depression.
Oh.
I would ask your doctor about that.
Interesting.
Yeah, just ask him, just say, am I on the appropriate dose for someone with my diagnosis? Because I'm not a doctor, but that is what my doctor told me. Because for an entire year, I saw a psychiatrist who prescribed me Abilify and only 10 milligrams. And the result was I ended up going manic.
Oh no.
Yeah. And I think I had stopped taking it at that point. But it was pretty quick that I went into mania. And so like with antidepressants, if you're bipolar 1 and you're prescribed antidepressants, yeah, you'll go into mania and psychosis if you experience it. So that's really frustrating for us because doctors are supposed to help us, but they don't know how sometimes. It's a challenge. We're a challenge, like, period.
Yeah. And sometimes I feel like the side effects are like
so bad.
Like, we're literally just like guinea pigs and they're like experimenting on us until they find something that works, and it's like,
but careful with that language, because if we have anybody watching that might be into close to manic or whatever, you don't want to make them afraid of the medicine.
Yeah, no, definitely take your meds. Like, definitely take your meds. Okay, so back to jail. So I got this program, ODR, and it's like a 2-year program, and like I'm supposed to like meet with like an ODR probation officer, but I'm not on probation, and live in this house with like all these other girls, and it's just like, it's not like a residential, it is kind of like a residential, I guess. Like, you live there, and then at first, like, I had like a 7-day blackout period, then I was given like 2-hour passes, and then 4-hour passes, and now I have like 8 hours and weekends that I can just like leave and like do whatever I want. Not whatever I want, like I can't like do drugs or like stuff like that, but I can, I just have like freedom now. But the good thing about this program is that they offer like subsidized housing. I'm not like encouraging anybody to go to jail to get this program. Yeah. But they have like subsidized housing, so I just got approved for that. So I'm gonna like, I started looking for like an apartment to move into, and yeah.
Did we go through all the medicines that you've been on?
No, because I can't remember all of them.
Okay. So I've been on at least 16 different types of medication over my life, and 90% of them did not work. But the 10% that worked gave me my life back and allowed me to not die. Because when you're in psychosis, the odds of you getting hurt or you hurting someone else are very high. But not to scare loved ones, they're very high, but it doesn't happen all the time or even frequently. But we put ourselves in dangerous situations, like drive 100 plus miles on the freeway. Have you done that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I've done that, yeah.
And we sometimes go through stop signs or stoplights. Did you ever do that?
No.
I went through stop signs once.
On purpose?
I was in psychosis and I was special, and stop signs were not meant for me. God would clear the path and make sure that nobody would be in my way.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That was my belief at the time.
My psychosis was that I was God.
So like in my first psychotic episode, I thought that I was like a second coming of Jesus. I was a sister.
No way.
Yeah.
That's what Sean thought.
Really?
He thought he was the Messiah, and he.
It's totally common.
He thought he was the Messiah, and he like flew to like he wanted to go to Israel,
Ooh.
and he like flew to This is how I started thinking I was the Messiah, because I met him and he was telling me that he like flew to New York and like was going through to all these synagogues, like, you guys, like, I'm the Messiah.
That's crazy.
And then when we started dating, he thought I was the Messiah, so I was like, okay, I can. And I was manic, so I was like, okay, I can like dig that. I'm the Messiah, sorry. But I thought that I was like God and my son was like Jesus. You know, like half God, half mortal. I just kept saying that. And then, like, it's so funny because, like, my son's like, you know, you said you were God. Like, when you're going manic. I was like,
how old is your son?
He's 13.
Okay, and he how's your relationship with him and his dad?
It's good. It's a lot better now after, like, getting out of jail and, like, on these meds. Like, he didn't want to talk to me when I was in jail.
Your son?
Yeah, he didn't want to talk to me. But then he started talking to me, Dude, I was in jail for Christmas and New Year's.
Oh my God, I was in jail for Christmas too, and New Year's, and I was and Thanksgiving.
I wasn't there for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, because I got arrested on October 1st, 2016. Okay. And I spent 3 months in jail. I was held incompetent, and I was transferred to Rancho Cucamonga, which is a jail like 2 hours ago. They had some pilot program where they teach you to be competent. They make sure you are taking meds so that you can become competent. And I met some really amazing people there.
Did you have to like pass a competent test?
No, we had to study a book, and yeah, we did something like that. They give us a book like, this is the plaintiff and this is the defendant, and what does this mean? And you have, God, it is so bad. My dog is shedding everywhere. Hi, Sebastian. Hi, Sebastian. He only has one eye.
Oh.
Well, he has a small eye, I should say. It's called the sunken eye.
Yeah.
But that's my little senior citizen baby. But anyways, let me tell them about this person that I met in jail, because since we're talking about the Messiah, the person that I met in the Rancho Cucamonga jail was a woman who was convinced she was pregnant with the second coming of Jesus. And so she was pregnant, and she wasn't pregnant. She had a big belly, but she wasn't pregnant. And she used to like walk around with her stomach like stuck way out, so her belly probably wasn't even that big. It was probably just the way she was walking around. But she was 1,000,000% convinced that she was pregnant, and she and I remember hearing her talk with her psychiatrist. And this is weird too. When you were in psychosis, were you able to look at other people and be like, oh, they're out of their mind, but they're fun?
No.
I did.
No.
I did. I was like, that doesn't really make sense, but we're fun. You're fun, so let's hang out. This was before I knew my diagnosis and was taking care of it. But anyway, I remember seeing her talking to her psychiatrist and him saying, well, there's definitely no baby. We gave you the test. And she's like, And she just thought that her baby was not a normal baby. It was not one that would show up on a pregnancy test, and she wouldn't have a normal pregnancy. It might take 2 years before this baby is born. So these are you guys get it. Like, these are the kinds of things that happen to us, that beliefs that we have. These are firm, fixed beliefs and it is our reality. You cannot convince us that is not reality. We have to be stabilized on medication. Many times we have to be hospitalized. And That can be a real challenge because of our anosognosia, meaning us not knowing we're sick. Did you feel like they were trying to poison you with the medication and that everyone else was sick and you were the only sane one?
Yes, that's exactly what I thought.
Yeah, a lot of us think we have the exact same experiences but totally different.
One time I was at a psychiatric hospital, and like if you don't take your meds, they can get like a court order to like medicate you.
Oh yeah, me too. They did that to me at UCLA.
I was like talking to like this judge who was like deciding it. I was like, I'm not sick. I was like, and he's like, all right, medicate her, whatever. But they would just like inject me. It was just like,
oh,
really
you got
bad.
The injection?
Yeah, when they court ordered it, I got the injection.
Abilify has an injection that lasts 30 days.
Oh, I'm not on there right now. I'm just on the pill.
Oh, but the shot is really helpful when you get hospitalized because it is in your system for 30 days and it takes that long to even start to come out of the episode. I think that's one thing that people might not understand. It's like a slow walk back, right?
Yeah.
It's not like you're in psychosis and then you wake up and you're like, oh wow, that was really weird.
Except in jail, it happened like that.
Oh really?
Yeah, like after like a month or so or whatever, and I just like woke up and I was like, oh my god, like I need medication.
But you had already been hospitalized like 20 times though.
Yeah. But I feel like the hospitalizations weren't like beneficial because like I just learned the system and then I would just get out and then say screw it to my medication. You know, like I learned how to act in the hospital and like how to just get out real quick, and
which is a major problem. I learned too. It's very easy to call what's called patients' rights, and they will hold a hearing. And if you are high functioning, you will figure out what to say in order to get out of there, and that is a major problem for us. And there was something else I was going to say too that I forgot. Oh, I'll keep talking. I'll remember.
Okay.
What were we were talking about? Our medication and our illness affects our memory. Sometimes for some people. Does that happen to you?
Yeah. I like forget things, and like I made up this rule that I give myself like 5 seconds, and if I don't remember it in 5 seconds, it's just gone, and I let it go because otherwise it would drive me crazy.
And I'm trying to remember. Oh, about memories. When we are in psychosis, our brain is moving so fast that it does not have time to file the memory. So it never creates the memory. So we have massive blackouts in our psychosis and stuff that we do not remember. You have blackouts,
That
right?
is so true.
Yeah.
Because like I like I'll do all these like crazy things or like write all this stuff and I won't remember it until like I see my like Facebook and I'm like, oh my god, I said that to that person. Like, oh my god, I sent all these pictures to these people. Like, what is wrong with me?
Yeah.
Like, I have no memory of it. Like, I have no memory of like things that I do when I'm like in psychosis.
Yeah, if you have mental illness and social media, you should probably put a rule in place that nothing posts for 24 hours or something like that, or even a week or whatever before you actually post it, because if you're someone in high school or college and you got all your friends on Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat or whatever, it can ruin your life. I mean,
yeah, it really can.
Take all your friends away. It can cause you to lose jobs. It can cause you to say things that are just completely outlandish that you would never say in a million years. Never.
Yeah.
Like, racial slurs and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah, crazy.
Oh my God, yes.
And
you think too, you're like, I'm not racist. Like,
no.
Why am I saying
I've donated to Black Lives Matter. I marched downtown in order to get gas going in office with everyone. I attended these protests like like I'm an anti-racist, but I guess I said something really racist when I was sick that I have no memory of.
Yeah, me too. I was like saying really racist things to like everyone. But last year when I was like going manic, like I was telling you, I like developed a following, but it was all like creepy men who just like sent me dick pics all the time.
Oh my gosh,
It's
that
like-
is so gross.
It was so annoying. Like, I don't even look, like, if you send me a message on, like, Facebook, like, I never get it because, like, it's just saturated with, like, dick pics. Like,
Ew.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm obviously gonna have to restrict this video
Oh,
to older.
we can't
It's fine. It's fine.
Oh.
It doesn't care. It doesn't matter. Like, this is how we talk, you guys. Whatever. If YouTube demonetizes this video, I'm not gonna make more than a couple bucks on it anyways. That's my amazing pay rate. But anyway, oh, and by the way, Ben Zapp, if you're watching, I really, really appreciate you giving me those super thanks because I didn't even know they existed, number one. And number two, as I said, I don't make any money on this channel. I do kind of like maybe like $100 every 4 or 5 months. But that's it. That's advertising on YouTube pays like nothing. People make money other ways on YouTube. Like if they write a book or something, they can sell it.
Sponsored or something.
Yeah, sponsorships. Oh, I had something really cool happen to me. Somebody reached out to me, so you guys will learn all about it. Somebody reached out to me from some viral Prime thing and is offering me product exchanges. So they're sending me this giant mattress pad that is like some earth thing or whatever. Anyways, it sounds really cool. So when I get it, I'm going to test it out and I'll tell you guys all about it at the end of one of my videos. And I get to keep it.
It's really cool.
Yeah. And it costs like $175 too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
On Amazon. So yeah, go back to me interrupting you again. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's like, I'm like, me. This is my channel. Let me talk to you. But no, I'm kidding. You know, I just have stuff that pops in my head, you know, and this is all important. It's important stuff, right?
Yeah,
you know?
It matters. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we're at 51 minutes. So, I know it doesn't seem that long, huh?
I know.
We wanted to do this video together and answer any questions that you guys might have in a future video.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want us to do a live again, please write down in the comments that you want us to do a live. And we enjoy doing them.
Yeah,
They're fun, right?
we do,
So,
yeah.
and I really love interacting with you guys. Athena's my friend, but other than that, it's you guys. I mean, I have a couple of friends, but I don't see them enough. Sybil's my friend. I love her. She's great. And my other friends have either moved out of state and I don't talk to enough. But they're still, you know, in my heart, and they're still, you know, really close friends.
Oh,
but...
another thing I forgot to say was that Sean and I stopped dating in like October, like before my birthday, so in like September, October, and then.
And by stop dating, what happened? Because you accused him of assault in a sexual manner.
Yes, which was true.
Oh.
Yeah. Not the first time I accused him, but when he got high on coke and assaulted me, that was true.
And did you do any of that coke?
No, I didn't do any of the coke. No.
Look at you! I totally would have done some, especially if I was in mania. I totally would have done some, but not in my right mind, you guys. Like, and actually, I have something really exciting to say. Some of you might not know this, but it is not really that healthy if you have bipolar disorder to smoke marijuana. But I am a marijuana addict and started smoking. Started smoking at 14 and have smoked daily for many years. But I got really sick last week. See, I'm not the crazy thing is it's more of the smoking habit for me because I smoked cigarettes for 30 years. So I vape now, but I got really sick and I didn't smoke any weed for a couple of days. So I'm like, I just won't smoke any weed. So I haven't smoked any weed in like over a week, which is really good. And you know, I do feel like I get way more done. So, it's not something that I plan on doing again, but I probably will. If I'm being honest, I probably will. I'm not planning on doing it, and it did help me when my mother-in-law passed away. Because I woke up with a pit in my stomach every morning, and that substance helped ease that pain. But it can have a very negative effect on you in the long run, or when you smoke a bunch of marijuana and then you stop smoking marijuana, it can have it's just not good for people with mental health issues at all. And nowadays, even if you don't have any kind of mental illness, you can go into psychosis because the marijuana is so strong. They're highly concentrated, because here in California it's legal. Like, we could go down and buy an eighth right now, but you know, we're not. So are you smoking weed right now?
No, I'm not. No.
Yay, us. So we're both clean at the moment, which is really amazing. We should go out and celebrate and have a drink. Just kidding. I can count on one hand how many drinks I've had this year. So in the entire year, I don't drink. That's
Me too,
very bad. Terrible for bipolar disorder, because alcohol causes depression. So if you are bipolar and you are drinking, you need to go to AA if you can't stop, or rehab, whatever you want. I don't care, but you got to do something. So where do we want to talk more about Sean? Is there anything else we want to share in this video?
So we broke up. Like, I was like, get out of my life and whatever. But like 2 months ago, he emailed me and he said, "Why can't I get over you?"
Aw, that's fun, right? They always come back. They always come back.
But I had sent him an email like it's not cool what happened, like, you know, like the assault and like
because you were dating, but that is not something that you wanted at the time, right?
No, it wasn't something that I wanted, and he was high on coke and like completely ignored me, and like, you know, it is what it is. I was just like, it's not cool. Like,
and it's a feeling that never goes away. That the trauma attached to that. You just have to learn mindfulness and how to examine the trauma from your past and not be affected by it. Do you agree with me in this statement? I think everyone with bipolar disorder who has had an episode of depression or psychosis has PTSD.
I believe that mental illness in general is like stems from PTSD. Like,
oh, really?
I feel like going through like whatever
pain
and suffering causes mental illness. Like, that's what I believe.
Situations like traumatic events, just your brain just goes haywire once you can't take anymore, which totally makes sense, and I feel that way too. A lot of people will say that bipolar disorder is hereditary, and that might be what statistics show, and it might be, but oftentimes when something's hereditary, it's hereditary because of family patterns, like obesity. If your parents are overweight and they eat whatever they want and they give you whatever they want, you are also going to be obese. So it's not inherited, it's the habit is inherited. Yeah.
But I don't know if I buy that, because like there is mental illness in my family, but no bipolar. Yeah. You
don't know if you buy what, the hereditary thing?
Yeah, I mean, of course it like that has something to do with it, but like if you're like predisposed to mental health or whatever.
Yeah.
But
I know that my first episode was caused by trauma. It started with my parents' divorce, and which was probably the most painful thing in my life, was my parents splitting up when I was 14 years old. In particular, if your parents really love each other and they just cannot get along, and you see how much they love each other, and then you see the toxic relationship and the fights and the anger and the screaming, is very, very difficult on children. Me and my brothers do not have any kids, and we probably will never have kids. And I do believe that is because of what we grew up with. I have a sister, and she is pregnant, but she did not grow up in the same house as us. She's much, much younger, and she's with my dad and his wife, who he's completely in love with. And they don't fight like that. They're meant for each other. They can communicate, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you can love someone like a million times over, but you just don't get each other. And my advice would be to go to counseling and work that out, because it is so traumatic on children. Does it bug you that, like, okay, this really bugs me? And I'm not being judgmental, because I'm not in that situation and I never will be, but I do feel empathetic towards the kids that this happens to. When people split up and they will immediately let another person, their new partner into, because you know, children, they fall in love with with you if you're a step parent. You're important. You're someone in their life. And if you're mom's boyfriend for a year and then you break up, that's trauma.
Yeah.
So and step families are trauma. You have to get used to new siblings. You have to get used to a new parent, and that parent is not the same as a biological parent, because when you have a biological parent, both parents feel a certain way about you. When it's a step parent, it's a little different in how they react to you. I'm not saying everyone, I'm just saying that's been my experience. Particularly if you don't grow up with the step parent or whatever, you know, they're not spending as much time with you. They might love you, but they're not spending as much time with you. They don't know you from birth. So if you do something messed up, like in my case, if I do something messed up, my dad will always take my stepmom's side, not mine. He will always take her side, and he's done that with everyone, which is, you know, what somebody who wants to keep their wife will probably do. You know, like, you know, you gotta make the relationship work, and that you have to be a team. So, you know, it makes sense. But, you know, you guys know, if you are a child of divorce, or if you are somebody who is considering divorce, you know how difficult it is. So that's why I say I don't judge. I don't have any children, and I never will. But yeah. Do you think that because you are a mom, do you think that you can be a good mother to your son?
Oh yeah, I definitely think I can. Even when I wasn't like medicated, he was like still number one. There's like just this like connection with him, you know, like even though I wasn't like in my right mind, like I still took him to practice every day, woke up, like made him breakfast, took him to school, picked him up from school, packed his lunch, like did all these things even when I like was going through what I was going through.
But currently your ex has full custody.
Yes, but
he's really cool about it though, right? You can pretty much
really
see
cool about
Kaden whenever you want.
I see him whenever I want, whenever Kaden wants, actually, because he's 13 now, so he's like, I'm too cool for you, mom. But he does ask me like things that I feel like he doesn't ask his dad, you know, like he'll like be like, oh, can we go back to school? Can I go back to school shopping with you? And I'm like, okay, because like I just get him what he wants, you know, and his dad's like very like particular.
Yeah.
But going back to like what you were saying about like your parents splitting up in childhood, like my childhood, like I was like repeatedly sexually assaulted by a family member.
Ooh.
And I feel like that, like
trauma?
when I went into psychosis, like I thought everything was like sexual assault. Like I thought that like
that is terrifying.
Yeah, I literally thought like everything was like sexual assault. Like I didn't understand.
We didn't even get into all the cop calling that you did.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is a really long video, so maybe we'll do a series, and we want you guys to ask questions. What do you? I think now's a good stopping time.
Yeah, that's a good stopping.
We want you guys to ask us questions. So whatever questions you have, put them below. We will make the next video. We will answer your questions, and we'll tell you more about Athena's phone calls to the police and more about the people that I met in the psychiatric ward of jail, and more about Tiffany, because I spoke to Tiffany today, and she is, she's doing well. She's going to get better. I know she is. And I'm taking care of her cat again. Her dog was euthanized. He had diabetes, and he was going, and diabetes is very, very uncomfortable, and he became incontinent, and that made him hurt because he knew he wasn't supposed to do that. He didn't know when he was peeing, but we gave him an amazing last year of his life, and I wasn't there when he went bye-bye, but his mom was. Tiffany was there. So that's what happened with that. But we appreciate you guys watching so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we love you, and you'll see us again for sure, especially because Athena's sane now and on her medication. We can tell you all about her story. Make sure you get her what's your Instagram?
It's just Athena Juman. ATHENAJUMAN.
We'll put it down below. And we're not going to give you her Facebook.
Yeah. I don't know anybody on Facebook.
Okay, so we're going to go. Okay, bye guys. Say bye.
Bye.